All right, week 12. We're both looking pretty scruffy here.
I know it's the winter for time of the year, or is it No Shave November? I was not participating.
I don't know. I haven't looked at myself recently. I look like I just walked out of the woods.
You're wearing an Aeropostale sweater though. I didn't know they made those. Still
Ross dressed
rocking
for
it.
less, baby.
The old Ross. Not the Ross we need to worry about today, but one of them.
No, no. Yeah, just getting stuff on a discount. Sometimes you get the mid aughts back in your life.
Who wouldn't want that?
All right. Oh boy,
We got
losers of
some
the
football
week.
to talk about. Yep.
Losers of the week. I apparently can no longer score over 80 points. Or winners of the week. We'll start with winners. We don't have.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gotta go positive first.
I can't score over 80 points. So Lucas wins. Pretty good game. Again, Bo Nix, just one of the
Robert.
best fantasy quarterbacks over the last couple weeks. No one else on his team other than his kicker had a good game, but that's all he needed to get the win over me.
Yeah, good win for Lucas. I think I peaked at the power rankings, but he's becoming one of the top teams, even if it's an ugly win.
Yeah, we had said that he is basically locked in the top 4. I think that's where he'll be all the way through.
24 points from your kicker, man.
Yeah, the Steelers are a mess offensively, unless Russell Wilson is just throwing deep to Pickens. So I think Boswell is going to be pretty solid the rest of the way through. He just doesn't miss and gets a lot of opportunities. There. Speaking of kicker, I'll get to that later. Watching the Cowboys is very, very frustrating. Let's just put it that way, especially when you have their kicker.
The sky is literally falling.
Yeah.
For the Cowboys.
The Battle of the Brothers. Nathan won on a bye week. He probably would have won anyway, but it is. I mean, Matthew Krantz just absolutely rejoined the league and has taken over Sam's team.
Oh no!
It's unbelievable.
Sam is checked out. He is no longer with us.
Started 3 guys on a bye. Yeah,
but I think Nathan is actually good now.
If Nathan wouldn't have scored 117 points, I would be way more furious about
We'd be calling for collusion. But no, I think Breece Hall had a great game. Getting Puka back too was kind of the turning point for Nathan's team, and he is unfortunately good now. We got to take him seriously.
Tyreek got some points.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty solid all the way through. Brock Purdy, not bad. Playing the Packers this week. What are you going to do? You were down, not looking.
Oh, I was.
Most of the week, and then had a pretty big night with Joe Mixon.
Joseph Mixon. Yeah, I thought that this would be a loss, and I didn't really expect too much coming out of Monday night, but Mixon does. He saves me a bad week because Tucker Kraft got me 0 points. Kareem Hunt with a rare off week. So, my man.
Yeah, we both started our respective tight ends that we swapped for each other, and shouldn't have done that.
No, I think better days are ahead for TJ for you. Kittle was out, so I had no choice but to start Tucker Kraft, but I might as well just left Kittle in there because he did nothing.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately I started TJ over the
your taste
point getter.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I was gonna clown you on that later.
I was gonna say that I don't know if you watched any of the Texans game, but Nico Collins had like a 60-yard touchdown within the first 5 minutes of the game that got called back because of a penalty.
I didn't.
Yeah, so I was like, oh man, Tim got lucky right away, and Nico like blows away. A huge point get and gets called back. I'm like, oh, that's tough. Maybe Tim will lose, and then Mixon scores 3 touchdowns.
No, it's
Yes.
I'm so charmed this year that I'm not even watching because I don't even care because it doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, Mixon won me the game. That's cool.
Yeah, J.K. was good again. Jalen Hurts still
And
solid.
Jamar Chase is playing angry, and he's putting up numbers even though he's upset. I love it.
That was a great game. I was able to watch a little bit of that at the wedding that I was at. Ross, we told you, don't let him get hot.
He's hot.
Snuck out a win. Drew didn't have a great week, but Ross did enough to get through. Christian Watson, rare big game. DK Metcalf was okay. Chase Brown, really solid running back. And Patrick Mahomes did just enough. And the key of all keys, 18 points from your defense. Can't lose when your defense is scoring 18 points.
No, Ross is back. It's scary. We should all be worried.
I warned you guys all last week. I said it was a horrible trade. The single most lopsided trade that I can remember in a very, very long time. And then Libby scored 190 points.
190 points.
So, Tom, you traded him. You scored 128 points, but you got your butt kicked because Saquon is the best running back in the league. I watched that game. He's the fastest player I've ever seen. He's the best running back this year that I've seen in a very, very long time. He's incredible. And you just gave him to one of the top teams in the league for Aaron Jones, 4.8 points.
Yeah, Libby, I think I didn't have the initial hatred of this trade that you did, but I think Libby may have sold high at a good time on Aaron Jones.
Do you know what's super valuable? Really good running backs. Do you know what's not as valuable? Pretty decent wide receivers like Cooper Kupp. Yeah, you scored 25 points, but there's probably, 6 wide receivers that scored around that many points. Nobody scores like Saquon does from the running back position.
And I think that Libby probably has the most complete team right now. He's like, I may still be on top of the power rankings because of my record, but Libby's definitely the best team in the league, especially if you look at his lineup. He had Jameson Williams on his bench who had 20 points too. So like he could just start. He's got the Lions, basically half of them in his lineup. And
yeah, they're the best offense.
It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And Andy is Josh Allen.
Yeah. Yeah,
Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the league.
This is a team you did not want to face. I hope I don't have to. We'll see.
Wes won.
He did by a lot, or he had a good match.
Yeah, Herbert might be back, playing well. Good fantasy option. Bijan didn't even play that well, but James Cook powers him through. Jerry Jeudy's back. Rare good game. Zach Ertz. Vikings defense. I'm sick of people saying the Vikings defense is super good. I know statistically they're like the top in every single category and they have a really good run defense, but how many points did Jordan Love put up on them? That's horrible. Like 28?
I agree with you, actually, because they're not like a shutdown defense. They're definitely a boomer bust defense where they'll get like 4 sacks, but then they'll give up a 98-yard touchdown because they can't actually play man coverage. So I don't actually think they're a great defense, but apparently they're good enough for fantasy.
Yeah. All right, losers, boy. Sometimes you live the charmed life for a while. You got to like it when you're in it, and it's just over. I can't make any right decision. I don't know who to start, who to bench. I benched Nick Chubb this week. He didn't even really play that well last night, but still scored 2 touchdowns. I can't do it. I didn't start Taysom Hill.
So yeah, let Taysom Hill. 37 points.
It was a bad matchup. I mean, Cleveland has a decent defense. How am I supposed to know that? Hawkinson's going against Tennessee. The I said the only reason why I played Taysom was because he was playing Carolina, and so it was a spot start. I don't know what to do with Taysom anymore. I don't know what to do with Nick Chubb because I have to just start him and just deal with them not scoring 3 out of 4 weeks.
If you would have started Taysom Hill, you would have had to leave him in your lineup for the rest of the season. He would have been your fantasy hero.
He is.
I'm actually really sad for you that you didn't start him because it would have been amazing if you would have saved your matchup.
To only win because Taysom Hill. Yeah.
What could have been?
What could have been? Garrett Wilson, terrible. Nick Chubb, terrible. Started the right Washington running back, just barely, but started the right one because Brian Robinson scored a touchdown and Austin Eckler didn't. And then Jane Daniels is just average again. It's terrible.
Well, your matchup this week is going to help you, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about Sam. He's not playing. Stefan didn't get a big game from Lamar Jackson. We talked about it.
Yeah, and I think Stefan chimed in on the chat. Not the best showcase of our trade, which I agree, because, well, Gibbs was okay for him. So
yeah, Gibbs was good, and Juwan Jennings was a great pickup. He's probably the best offensive player other than Brock Purdy on the Niners.
Do you maybe either put Debo on the bench or drop him? I'm not sure what you do if I'm Stefan, because Debo had a really frustrating year.
I don't know what he drafted him for. So, or Stefan, was Debo this year's second year keeping him? He can answer that at some point.
Yeah, he can if he's still on.
Yeah, it might be worth just letting Debo sit on the bench the rest of the year. If not,
I don't think you can drop him, but man,
I wouldn't drop that. Too much chaos could occur from somebody picking him up, and then he starts getting hot again. But yeah, Stefan goes the way of Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson has like a 30-point game, he's right there with you. And
yeah, he was close. He was close to winning this one, if not for a miracle for me.
Yeah, Drew got 0 points from his tight end. Not good.
The cold streak continues.
He's starting Russell Wilson as his quarterback. That's not good. But Baker's coming back. Russ kind of got away with a off week from a usually higher scoring team, but this is the way Russ rolls.
Well, and if you look at Drew's bench, there's nobody he could have plugged in to help him out. It was just a bad. He had people on bye, like you said. I mean, it's not totally over for Drew because he did have so many points at the start of the season, and maybe that keeps him in the running for the points for playoff spot. But he's got to dig himself out of this, or he might be at the bottom.
Yeah, I think Stefan's got that locked up, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Tom, big game, would have beat just about everybody but Wes.
Yeah, that's tough.
And traded Saquon Barkley to Libby.
Stefan says first year with Debo and that he's on the bench this week. So,
all right,
nicely done.
Could keep him again. Probably still cheap, but
he drafted him for $39. So I would say I wouldn't keep him with that 15% luxury tax or whatever it is.
Yeah. How are all those people that drafted Brandon Ayuk? Congratulations.
Hey, that's me in another league, and I'm at the bottom. So good job, me.
Speaking of other leagues, I won the rare stat correction. Thought I lost on Monday night. Nico Collins didn't score enough points, and the kicker for the Texans.
I lost you. We're still streaming though.
Yep. Yeah, the kicker for the Texans, I was going against Nico Collins didn't score enough, and I thought I lost Monday night, and then stat correction, still top in that league.
Interesting.
I don't know what the stat correction was, though, because Yahoo is really confusing. Seth, loser, scored 102 points, not bad, but he's going to have to win some games to get into consideration for that. Well, 8 spot. It's pretty close down there at the bottom. 4 and 7, not too far off, but it's gonna have to have some big weeks. HN looks like he's back to form. Josh Jacobs is really solid. Jordan Love catches fire again at the end of the season. Could power him.
Yeah, he's the in the hunt graphic. Him and a couple others are in the hunt, but I do think it's Stefan's spot if he doesn't if he stays where he is.
Power rankings.
Bang.
Sam, Matthew Cran's
No
back
surprise.
at the bottom. Seth, Tom, Drew, looking to try and score enough points to take Stefan's spot at that 8. Again, I think Stefan's probably going to end up grabbing that. I think I currently am the worst team that is going to make the playoffs, so that's why I'm in there at the 7 spot. Wes, gosh,
he's hanging around too.
It hurt me to rank Wes ahead of me. Ross just keeps sneaking up. And then I think the top 4 are pretty solid there. Nathan, Lucas, Libby, Tim.
I could have gotten along with the argument that Libby goes number 1 this week just because of how he won. And I think we have the same record, but I'm not totally sure. But man, yeah, he's definitely number 2.
You have 1 more win. You're 9 and
Okay.
2. He is 8 and 3. So, I mean, you got the regular season title wrapped up if you went out.
Yeah, I should. We'll see. I mean, I think the playoff picture is becoming pretty clear. Like even you, I think your early success is gonna get you in there no matter what.
I'm 99% locked in according to ESPN. Yeah. Nathan's 95, Wes is 89, and then Ross is 72.
Ross is. I wonder where the low point for Ross was, if he was ever at like under 20% or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know.
I'm not an analyst, but I do think, like, especially for you to get into the matchups for this week, probably have an instant win because Sam is again starting people on bye, and it does not look like he will get to that.
I'm not going to take anything for granted.
That's true.
You're still top in points for. Stefan is actually 3. Stefan has the 3rd most points scored.
That's impressive. Yeah, I mean, so he's got that spot locked in if he drops.
That's just that's just matchups throughout the year. So tough. Hope Stefan makes the playoffs as a result of that.
That's exactly why that rule exists. So I'm glad that he's the beneficiary of it, because you can be that. And if he would have lost a playoff spot and still had that many points, that would have been frustrating. So that's exactly why that rule exists.
Yep. We've over the years we've figured out a way to make these dumb rules of fantasy football work more in the people's
Have we
favor.
talked about frustrated defensive scoring once this year? Not a once. It's been great.
Nope. Sometimes it's really good. Most of the time it doesn't hurt you.
That's right. That's how it should be.
Yep. Next week, what do we got here?
We got some scores in from last night, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, the most impactful would be if I would have started Nick Chubb, which I didn't because I'm an idiot.
Well, it's hard to start people, especially on those Thursday night games. But you could have argued, since it's a division game, that
I didn't know it was going to snow.
The snow too. That
if I would have known it was going to be a blizzard, I would have been thinking blizzard. Nick Chubb,
what? Yeah,
he's getting in the end zone for sure. Sam is still starting 3 people on a bye, So
Yes. So I think you'll if he continues to not look at his team, I think you should grab an easy win. You don't have to worry about starting Taysom Hill this week because he's on a bye. So hopefully TJ can get some points for you.
I will be starting Taysom Hill over TJ Hawkinson the rest of the year when everything's even.
I thought you were gonna say you were still gonna do it even if he's on a bye because he still might get points, and I might have believed that. Taysom Hill would. He would still get points on a bye.
They should have for when they go to the playoffs, they should have a like fantasy draft or a fantasy draft basically and take players off of teams that didn't make the playoffs and you get to add them. Taysom Hill going to the Broncos. When is Taysom going to be a Bronco?
He would be a great Bronco and reuniting with Sean Payton for sure. He would, I could see that.
Bo Nix and Taysom Hill in the backfield. What are you going to do with that?
Wow. That would be insane.
Bo Nix is almost as old as Taysom Hill.
Is he? Oh, I suppose he was an older rookie. I don't know. Taysom Hill does seem ageless.
Bo Nix famously played like 7 years of college football because he got all the COVID years and just kept coming back.
Hey, it worked for him. He's good in the NFL this year.
You're projected to beat Lucas. Got to watch out for Lucas. He's got big Derrick Henry games that can happen. Yes. DeAndre Hopkins didn't score a bunch last week. He might have a big week this week because they're playing Carolina. Got to watch those guys that get to play Carolina. Travis Kelce also playing Carolina. So if you don't get a big Texans game or Kittle comes off the injury, doesn't play that well against the Packers, you never know.
We'll see. I've got a couple people on bye too, but I'm not worried.
Nathan versus Drew, a rivalry. Back at it again. Baker Mayfield's back for Drew. He's still projected to lose to Nathan by a couple of points. Nathan probably takes this. Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about that one.
It's a good upset matchup to watch though, potentially, because Drew needs to. This is his kind of last chance to get back in it potentially. He needs to find a tight end because Mike Gesicki's on his bye. That might help leverage the matchup a little bit, but I don't know. These two have a weird deal going on, so maybe Drew's supposed to lose. I don't know.
Yeah, Stefan versus Libby. Sorry, Stefan, you're probably going to lose, but keep scoring points. That's all that really matters.
It is so frustrating to start Pittsburgh running backs. Jaylen Warren. It was Jaylen Warren's turn to have a big game last night, so Najee doesn't have as good of a game. But it would be funny if he wins because Jahmyr Gibbs has a great outcome instead of David Montgomery. But this is again, and Libby's gonna have to start Tua because Josh Allen's on a bye.
Yep.
But it's a what can men do against such reckless hate kind of matchup because Libby's just gonna steamroll everybody.
Yeah, Libby refuses to play Jameson Williams. He just keeps him on his bench, and
maybe he just doesn't like his attitude. Maybe it's the gambling thing, or the PEDs, whatever.
It's enhancing drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be starting him though.
Ross versus Seth, huge game. Seth has to get this win.
Yes.
Keep knocking Ross down. Not a great start. He started Njoku 3.4. Started Pickens. Not a good game for Pickens. And the projection is still tight, though. Projection's still tight. 7 points from the Steelers defense. Not huge for Ross, but you never know.
Seth, he's got to root for the Packers a little bit extra. Josh Jacobs has been decent. And if Jordan Love can establish his late season form that he had last season, he could put up some points too.
Packers have a lot of monkeys to get off their back with the Niners, so
that's true. They'll play up for the Niners, I think.
If they get hot, LaFleur's gonna put some points on his old mentor.
Yeah, I agree. This is Ross. Let's just hope he doesn't score a lot of points, but I don't think there's any stopping him from getting in the playoffs now.
Probably not. Wes currently projected to lose to Tom. I think Tom probably rolls here. I would hope so.
He put up a
Tom
ton
can-
of points last week.
Tom can score points. He can score points. Javonte Williams apparently is back to being the starting running back. Stupid Audric Estime.
Yeah, that's tough to figure out. It's interesting because a lot of these matchups are kind of like the good teams who are at the bottom of the playoffs against the people who are at the bottom. So it's kind of like a chance for the people who are in the playoffs right now to just keep the door closed for the people who are trying to get in.
If you were Wes, would you start Herbert against Baltimore or Anthony Richardson against Detroit?
Oh, that's easy. I think it's Herbert. Nobody is scoring on the Lions. They're just such a scary team, and I think that it's going to be another blowout. I don't trust Anthony Richardson. I'm glad he's starting again, but I don't trust him.
All right. Well, that's all I got.
Your Chiefs prediction, they actually lost last week. Do you
They
think
did.
how are they gonna beat the Panthers this week?
Probably by a couple touchdowns. The Chiefs prediction I thought was going to it kind of looked like they were going to keep it close, stop them on fourth down. Josh Allen has that crazy run on fourth down to put them up 2 scores. It could have very well happened, and instead I got one of the most fortunate Packer wins in a similar way to how the Chiefs won.
Just the tip.
And that's all that really matters is Packers win, Kansas City loses. Hopefully Kansas City keeps losing, although they're not going to lose to the Panthers.
An upset by the Panthers would be hilarious, but
it'd be very funny.
I don't think it'll happen.
I would say that Kansas City is going to win 28-13, but it will be 14-13 going into the fourth quarter.
Okay, that's fair. And I could see them playing them like really close, like winning 12-9 or something stupid like that. That would be funny too.
It'll definitely be a game where like going into the late third quarter, early fourth, people are going to be like, "Oh, Kansas City, not looking good," and then they'll just rip off and cover the spread, do all that.
I'll call for an Adam Thielen touchdown, wide receiver 1 for the Panthers. Go pick him up if you need a Hail Mary.
Wow.
I don't know if he's actually on waivers right now. But
Bryce Young too. He's been on the waivers for a while. I think he's still there.
Go get him if you need him.
Yep. The Terminator. It started.
Terminator.
T2 coming to you Monday. A lot of thoughts on T2.
I enjoy listening to you guys talk about movies that I haven't seen before. I feel like I enjoy that more than just listening to you talk about movies that I have seen, like Batman. So it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, T2 is going to be a fun one. We have a really good guest.
And,
yeah,
is it Arnold?
I wish it was Arnold. Yeah, it could get wild. There's a chance I may ask Mom to not listen to this one. It could get crazy. It might get crazy.
All right, that's something to look forward to. And we got Thanksgiving next week. So if you want to give thanks for your football team, if you want to thank a player in your lineup, let me know. Let us know.
We could record in person.
We can record in person.
Wow.
So
take a quick 30 minutes out of the day, get away from the kids, and we'll
look out for that.
We'll give you your Thanksgiving matchups.
Maybe we'll have James join so that I can put him down for another TV show that he likes. That'd be fun.
The Penguin?
Yeah, maybe that would be the one. I haven't seen it though.
It's good.
All right. Football, good football, T-Wall.
Football.